Okay, we were discussing discrete Fourier transform and its relationship with filter points. So what we have discussed in the previous class, that how can you compute the lower resolution coefficients from the high resolution coefficients using a filter bank structure. Okay, so we have started from a scale. Suppose start with the approximation coefficients at a scale j plus 1. So from these coefficients you can get the approximation and detailed coefficients at a scale j by passing these coefficients through a sequence of filters with the pulse response h0 of minus n and h1 of minus n, and then decimation by factor of 2. So you get here Cj, you get here detailed coefficients at scale or at level j, and then we repeat this process. Okay, so Cj is further decomposed using the same filters and decimation, and you get coefficients at a scale of j minus 1 and detailed coefficients at a scale of j minus 1. So this we call as a filter bank. Okay, and for this implementation we had a basic equation which was Cjk equal to summation over m Cj plus 1 m into h of m minus 2k. This equation was implemented using this structure. So let me repeat it, how it comes basically. We have said, okay, this equation is equivalent to a convolution along with a downsampling. Okay, and when you have simple convolution, you pass a sequence xn through some linear time invariant filter having impulse response hn. So you get an output which is equal to summation of h of n minus k into x of k. This is yn. So how we compute the samples? You compute y0 as summation of h of minus k into x of k. Then y1 as summation of h of 1 minus k into xk and so on. Okay. So when you compute the first sample of output, 1 is equal to 0, you multiply x of k with h of minus k and you add all these samples together. Okay, it means you fold one sequence. So if this is x of k and if this is my h of k, some sequence, so how you get y0? You fold its sequence, you get it h of minus k, and then this h of minus k and x of k, they are multiplied together. So you get a resultant sequence which is the multiplication of xk into h of minus k. Okay, so x0 will be multiplied with h of 0, so you get some sample here. Then x of 1 with h of 1, x2 with h of 2, similarly x of minus 1 with h of minus 1 and so on. Okay, and then you add all these samples together. Okay, this is the situation. Of course, in this case you have only one sample at n is equal to 0, rest will be, and multiplication will be zeros. Then we only compute h of 1 minus k. So h of 1 minus k is basically h equivalent to h of, you can say, minus k plus 1. So this is achieved by first folding the sequence and then shifting by 1 to the right. Okay, so it is h of minus k, you shift by 1 to the right, it becomes like this. And then you again multiply x of k with h of 1 minus k and add all those samples together, you get y of 1 and so on. Okay, now from this equation, what you say, if you say Cj 0 for k is equal to 0, what you get? You get Cj plus 1 of m into h naught of m, k is 0. Okay. So you are multiplying directly the two sequences. Okay, in place of index k here, now the index here is n. Okay, so the input sequence is now c g plus 1. It is simply multiplied with h naught of m without any folding. Then if cg plus 1, you will get cg plus 1 of m into h of m minus 2. For k is equal to 1, you will get 2, then 4, and so on. Now if you relate this equation with this equation of convolution, what is the difference? You are multiplying the input sequence with h naught of m, not h naught of minus m. It means you can assume, okay, that if the impulse response of the signal is h of minus n instead of h of n, so when you find the convolution between the two signals, now the convolution operator will fold one of the sequences. Okay, so if it folds h of minus n, it will again become h of n. Okay, so that is why we have h of m here. So h of, so if you convolve c of j plus 1 with h naught of minus m, in that case, since it is already folded, if you, the convolution will again fold it, so it will become h naught of m, right? So this equation is basically now the equation of convolution with input as cj plus 1 m and impulse response as h naught of minus n. Okay, so you get, and then you multiply, you get 0. Then for j k is equal to 1, you now, in this case, see what we have done here, you folded it, then shifted by 1 to the right, and then multiplied and added together. Now here what you are doing, you are not folding it, you are simply shifting it by 2. So for 1 you are shifting by 2, it means now you are getting this as output at 2. Okay, this is basically you are taking not the output at n is equal to 1, this is equivalent to computing the output at n is equal to 2. You are shifting by 2, you are shifting by 4, it means you are deleting at sample at n is equal to 1, n is equal to 3 and 5 and so on. Okay, so that is why this downsampler is here. So this filter and this downsampler, they both combinedly implement this equation. Okay, so you can shift it because it is already h naught of minus n, so if you fold it, it becomes h naught of n. Then you shift it by minus 2, it means shift it to the right by 2. Okay, then again multiply and add, you get y2, then you get y4 and so on. So when your output is, actually it is 1 here, it means output, this output you are getting here. Okay, so c0, then you'll get c1, c2, c3, but c1 is basically what, it is not the output of this convolution, it is the output of this convolution for m is equal to 2. Then c2 is not for n is equal to output at n is equal to 2, it is for n is equal to 4. So you are discarding one sample in between, so that is why we have decimated it. Okay, this is what we have done the analysis process. Now we will try to reconstruct these high resolution coefficients from the lower resolution coefficients. So you have a synthesis process for that. Now you go from the coarse scale to fine scale. Okay. So what we do in that, you can have again the same mathematics that we have used, but let me repeat it again. If suppose you say that, okay, function ft is in a space vj plus 1. Okay, so in that space, this function f of t, it can be expressed using the scaling functions only without the need for any wavelets. Okay, this is we have discussed in the multi-resolution analysis. So you can have cj plus 1 k 2 to the power j plus 1 by 2 and phi 2 to the power j plus 1 to t minus k. Okay, when you discussed multi-resolution analysis, what we have said, if you first start from j is equal to 0 scale, then we have scale j is equal to 1. So if the space for this is v1, it means any function which is in the scale, which is in space, So that can be expressed using the scaling functions only. But if you want to express this function which belongs to this space of V1 at a lower scale, then you need both the functions, the wavelets and the scaling functions. Okay, so at this scale you can represent it using the scaling functions only without the need for any wavelets. But at a lower scale you need then both scaling and the wavelet functions. Okay, it means if I take at a scale of j, at a one lower scale j, so I need scaling function at that scale and also a wavelet function at that scale. So you can have equation in that case like this. So Cj of k 2 to the power j by 2 phi 2 to the power j t minus k, and plus summation over k, you will have dj of k 2 to the power j by 2 psi of 2 to the power j t minus k. So you have scaling function as well as a wavelet function in that case. Okay, now again, like in the previous we have done, we have expressed phi of 2 to the power jt minus k in a different format, and that was phi of 2 to the power jt minus k. Starting from the multi-resolution analysis, we have got equation like this: under root of 2 h naught n phi of 2 to the power j plus 1 t minus 2k minus n. Okay, so if you, and similarly for wavelets you can have the same equation. The only difference will be in place of h naught n, which is the scaling filter, you have a wavelet filter, that is h1n. Okay, so these two functions, they can be replaced with these functions in this equation. Okay, so you will have a different equation in that case. You will have k cj k. If I replace now this function with this equation, so you will have one more summation here, summation of h naught of n. This 2 raised to power j by 2 and square root of 2 will get multiplied, so it will become 2 to the power j plus 1 by 2. Okay, and this phi to the power j 2j phi of 2j 2 to the power jt minus it will be replaced with this function, so it will become phi of 2 to the power j plus 1 t minus 2k minus n. And similarly here, okay, we'll have summation of k djk, and this function will be replaced with this equation where h naught n will be replaced with h1n, and you have a same equation here. So you will have h1n 2 to the power j plus 1 by 2 phi of 2 to the power j plus 1 t minus 2k minus n. So you can write the function like this. Okay, now if you multiply this function with a scaling function at a scale of j plus 1, that is 5 to the power 2j plus 1 t minus k suppose cap, and you integrate it, what this will give you in the left hand side, it is this scaling or this approximation coefficients at a scale of j plus 1. Inner product of the function with the wavelet scaling function at a scale of j plus 1 will provide you the approximation coefficients at a scale of j plus 1. And on the right hand side, when you multiply this and when you integrate it, what will you get? Basically you have to integrate it here somehow, and then you have to multiply with this function phi of 2 to the power j plus 1 t minus k cap. Similarly here phi of 2 to the power j plus 1 t minus k cap dt. Okay, now see, you have two scaling functions, one is this one, another is this one, and since the scaling functions, they are orthonormal to each other, it means for the same shift, okay, their integration will be 1. For any other shifts, this integration is going to be 0. Okay, so this integration will be 1 only if this coefficient, that is minus of 2k minus n, or you can say minus of 2k plus n here, if this is equal to k cap, isn't it? So if my 2k plus n it is equal to k cap, in that case this integration will become 1. For all other factors this integration will be 0. Okay, so as a result this equation will turn into like this. You have Cj plus 1 of k cap will be equal to summation of Cj of k, and this entire summation will turn into a single value, that is h naught of, it will become k cap minus 2k. Okay, and that will happen only when this n, or you can say when n becomes k cap minus 2k. So at that point when this n reaches at that value, so this integration will be unity. For all other values it is 0. Okay, or you can replace similarly here the same concept. So you can replace these variables. You can write it as C of j plus 1 k is equal to summation of Cj of m h naught of k minus 2n summation over n. Okay, so this is now the equation for the synthesis, and similarly you will get another equation here where your Cj will be replaced with dj and h naught will be replaced with h of 1. So you have now these two equations, this equation that Cj plus 1k, now this will be equal to summation of Cj of m summation over n into h0 of m minus 2k plus another summation of dj of m into h1 of m minus 2k. So using Cj, that is approximation coefficient at a scale j and detailed coefficient at a scale j, and using the scaling and the wavelet filters, you can get Cj plus 1k. Now again we have to interpret this equation, or this equation both are same. If you interpret this equation, Cj of m h0 of m minus 2k summation over m, or you can alternatively write it as Cj of this should be k minus 2m here. This was k minus 2m. Okay, so Cj of, so if you suppose write if you replace 2m with some variable, maybe p, it will become Cj of p by 2 into h naught of k minus p summation over p. Okay, now this is again the equation of the convolution between Cj of p by 2 with h of p. Okay, because this is Cj plus 1k. So when you put k is equal to 0, you get the first sample. So k is equal to 0 here, you will get summation of Cj of p by 2 into h naught of minus p. Now in this case your impulse response will remain same because you're folding it here. So you're folding one sequence, multiply with another, add, you will get first sample. Then it is Cj plus 1 of 1, you will get Cj of p by 2 into h naught of 1 minus p. So 1 minus p or minus p plus 1, it is folding then shifting by 1 to the right, then again multiply again, add. Okay, now this Cj of p by 2, what is this sequence is that this is called as upsampling or interpolation. So if you have a sequence x of n, if you pass it through a upsampler or interpolator, the output is x of n by 2. It is basically increasing the sampling rate, or it will insert a new sample between every two samples. Okay, so if you have input sequence, suppose 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 and so on, what will be the output of this? When you have a downsampler, it was reduction of samples by factor of off. So it will delete one sample between every two samples. So you get sample at 0, then at 2, then at 4, 6, and so on. Now in this case, it will increase the sampling rate. It means it will insert one new samples. Now since we don't have any samples, we don't know what is end, we simply insert zeros. So we have one sample, then 0, then 2, then 0, then 5, 0, 6, 0. This is what is interpolation. Okay, and then after this, you are passing. Now this is C of j of p by 2 sequence. It means if you have Cj, the approximation coefficients at scale j, so how you are getting Cj plus 1? You are first interpolating it by a factor of 2, and then you are passing it through a filter h naught of n. Okay, this will give you this equation, the convolution between the upsampled sequence and the impulse response of the filter. And similarly, if we have an input sequence dj, it will be again upsampled and passed through a filter which is h1 of n, and then the output of these two is combined together. This will give you Cj plus 1. Okay, so this is what is the synthesis process. So the lower resolution coefficients, they are upsampled at a particular scale, and then they are processed using the same filters which we have used for the analysis. Okay, and then their output is added together to get the output at that scale. Okay, so you have finally a structure like this. So you start from some scale here, say j plus 1. In the analysis side, you have low pass filter, then a high pass filter, then you have a decimation by a factor of 2. So you get Cj and Dj. If you just decompose up to one scale, and then how you can get Cj plus 1 back from this? So you have to first interpolate. You have to, now this has to be given input to another filter bank, where the first stage is interpolation by a factor of 2, and then we have another filters. The output of these two are added together, you will again get Cj plus 1. Okay, so this is one filter h0, this is one filter h1, this is suppose right as g0, this is g1. So this becomes a basic structure in the filter banks. Okay, and moreover, when you design the filter banks, this is basically called as a two-channel quadrature QMF filter bank, quadrature mirror filter bank. So this is the analysis part, and this is the synthesis part. Okay, so we want this filter bank to be perfect reconstruction. It means if you decompose Cj plus 1 into two halves, Cj and Dj, and from these coefficients you should be exactly able to recover again Cj plus 1. Okay, but in terms of signal, if you apply a signal here x of n, the recovered signal x cap n, that should be very much close to x of n. And when you design this filter bank, we have basic structure like this. We have two analysis filters, two synthesis filters. Okay, and in the design of the filter banks, you will see that when you design a filter bank, there is a relation between the synthesis filter banks and the analysis filter banks, so that the structure becomes a perfect reconstruction filter bank. And finally, you will conclude that okay, in this design, we have to design only one filter, that is h naught of n. And once you design this filter, these filters h1n, g naught, and g1n, they can be directly obtained from this filter. Okay, for this structure to be a perfect reconstruction filter bank. But anyhow, in DWT, now what we do? So you have a structure like this. You start from a higher scale coefficients, and then you decompose using a filter bank into the next lower scale. So the output of this low pass filter is again decomposed using the same filters H0 and H1 and decimate by a factor of 2. You get the coefficients at the next lower scale and so on. This is my DWT, discrete wavelet transform. And if you have inverse DWT, now that is the reconstruction of this from these decomposed parts. So in that case, what you have to do, now these will be passed through two interpolators and then through two filters. The output is added together, you will reach here this coefficient. Now this coefficient and this detailed coefficients, they will be again upsampled, again passed through the two filters. Output, you will get this output. Okay, so this is inverse discrete wavelet transform. Okay, now so till now we are studying that okay, the input to this filter bank is basically the approximation coefficients at some scale, and then you can move ahead. Okay, you can find the coefficients at a lower scale, then from those you can find the coefficients at still lower scale and so on. Now the question may be that what should be the input to this, which coefficients you should give input to this filter bank structure at which scale. Okay, so that you can say that okay, if the scale is, if you have a function of t, if the scale is very much high, these scaling functions, they can be just approximated to the impulse signals delta t. Okay, because if you have a Haar, suppose you take a Haar function, so it is 0 to 1, it is 1. If you take at a scale of j is equal to 1, it is compressed by a factor of 2, it becomes half. If you still compress it, it becomes 1 by 4, then 1 by 8 and so on. So if the scale is very high, so this scaling function can be approximated to a impulse signal. Okay, and then when you find these scaling coefficients, because scaling coefficients now they are obtained as the inner product of the function with this scaling functions. Okay, it means when you find the inner product of the function with on the impulse signals, that will give nothing but the sampling of the signal itself. Okay, so the samples of the signal, if the samples are chosen according to the Nyquist rate, so they can be given as a, they can be taken as a good approximation for the input to this filter bank. Okay, so whenever you start decomposing a signal using a discrete wavelet transform, so what should be the input to the structure? That is nothing but the samples of the signal itself. Okay, or if the signal is itself is in the discrete form, a digital signal, in that case you have samples. So you have a signal xn, where xn may be the samples of some signal xt, and the sampling satisfy this Nyquist criteria. So then you process this through a filter bank. Decimate. So it is called as approximation coefficients at level 1 and detailed coefficients at level 1. Then these approximations are again decomposed and decimated. You get approximation coefficients at level 2 and detailed coefficient at level 2 and so on. This is how I decompose the signal using DWT. This is what is discrete wavelet transform for a signal. And then we reconstruct this signal from this these coefficients. You have to use this structure for IDWT. Okay. Now, why this transform? Why the wavelets or this DWT is useful? Because when you decompose a signal up to suppose level 3, so you finally have one more level. You have a A3 and D3. So this signal is decomposed. So these D1, D2, D3, since they are the output of these high pass or band pass filters, they contain the high frequency information. Okay, and this A3 it is the low frequency information. Okay, so what we do after discrete wavelet transform, we apply some sort of thresholds. Okay, we apply a threshold on the detailed coefficients, because the detailed coefficients, their amplitude is somehow very less. Okay, so we remove some of the detailed coefficients using a thresholding function. You make some parts to 0, and then you apply IDWT, you reconstruct the signal. So this is how the images or the signals, they are basically denoised or they are compressed using the wavelets. Okay, so you input signal, you decompose the signal up to some level using discrete wavelet transform. Now in the discrete wavelet transform, these filters will depend upon what type of wavelet you are choosing. If it is a Haar wavelet, that you know what are the filter coefficients for this. If it is Dobut's wavelet, you have another, there are different wavelets, dB2, dB3, dB4 and so on. Okay, so for coflets, for simlets, so many wavelet families are there. So the filter banks or the filters for different wavelets, they are different. So once you choose a wavelet system, it has a filter bank associated with it. So that filter bank will decompose the signal into different segments or different approximations and detailed coefficients. And then after you decompose this signal into different components, so we discard or you threshold some of the components, and then you reconstruct this signal using the favor coefficients only. So using this process, your signals, the noise is removed or your signals, they are compressed. Okay.